Yeah, with this oil, I know.
Yes. I'll call you up in a minute. Right.
Good afternoon and welcome. Today is Wednesday, August 17th. This is the City of Anderson, our Board of Architectural Review. Addenda?
We have two items of addenda tonight, one being 110 East Benson Street, which will come back to you for additional consideration. Also 124 West Whitmer Street. And also, I just want to make a quick mention that you probably received some emails from Mary Haley Thompson, our strategic projects manager for the city, regarding the city embarking upon our comprehensive land use plan, which is a very extensive process which will help guide and shape our growth for the city's future. And we would like for all of our elected officials and appointed officials to be involved in that process. As a matter of fact, next Monday, there's a kickoff meeting with our consultants, and we're inviting you at 7 p.m. to the Economic Development offices to join us for dinner and to just discuss items that you see are pressing in our community. So again, if you are able to attend, feel free to respond to Mary Haley. I believe a lot of you already have. I just wanted to mention that tonight. And also, real quick, before we get into the main body of the agenda, John Bika, board member for the BAR, had to tender his resignation recently because of his new role with Anderson County, and I believe John just wants to say a couple of words real quick.
Thank you, Maurice, and I'd like to thank the City of Anderson and the people that appointed me to this august body of citizens, friends, and neighbors. My recent election to the position of county auditor has forced me to resign from this post. We can't have two at the same time, so unfortunately I won't be with you anymore, but hopefully I'll be cheering you on from the sidelines and maybe bringing you some projects of our own down the line. But I did want to thank each one of you for all the kind support and encouragement that you give me, not just throughout the election, but just helping me along with understanding better the process that we go through once a month for our friends and citizens and neighbors, in helping to maintain the integrity, the historical character, the quality, and the things that we love the most about our city and our community that are embodied by its architectural legacy. And I think that the work that we do here and that we've done here as a board has been incredibly important to making our community attractive and welcoming and just a great place to live for people that happen upon us, move into the area and wonder, hey, this is such a great community, but it didn't happen that way overnight, and it certainly didn't happen that way without some oversight, some direction, some assistance, and some help from you fine people. So keep up the good work. I appreciate it. I'm going to miss meeting with you each month, but if there's ever anything I can do from the auditor's office, let me know. But and feel free to come by and see me sometime, because I'll certainly be keeping an eye on you guys. So good luck and God bless. Thank you. And thank you, Maurice.
Thank you, John. You'll be missed. We can move into the business meeting.
Yes, sir. The first item is BAR 2223, 121 Sharp Street, which is in the Downtown Historic District. The applicant is requesting approval for new exterior paint and a new roof on the building. What was being passed around earlier are the paint colors and the roof sample, so hopefully all of you have had a chance to take a look at that. But again, this is 121 Sharp Street. The building is a multifamily building, and you're probably all familiar with this, but I'll go through some photographs and different vantage points. But you can see that the building is currently painted a light blue color, kind of a beige trim. There's some work that needs to be done on the exterior with the cleanup of landscaping and all of that, and that's proposed as part of the project as well. But the proposed color of the body of the building is Valspar Jungle Chameleon, which is kind of an earthy green color. The trim will be painted with Valspar Summer Gray, which is kind of a whitish gray with cool undertones. And again, you can see those samples being passed around. The applicant's proposing to replace the existing asphalt shingles with a state gray, which you can see in the samples, and that's kind of similar, darker color to what currently exists on the roof. And again, you can see it better in your packet, but again, you can see the color of the shingles that exist on the building now. When you do review requests such as this, the board should focus on standards set forth in Chapter 10 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, and that's saying to use paint colors to tie in the entire storefront. And also in choosing colors, consider context or major colors on the surrounding buildings. It's encouraged to avoid bright, high-intensity colors, and muted and compatible tones should characterize a building. So those are the items to consider with paint. And again, the shingle color is very similar to what exists. The applicant is here if you have any questions, and feel free to ask me any questions if you have any.
Regarding the paint, looks like it'll be a nice, fresh, airy look to the building. Comments on the colors?
I had a question on the, I guess the building at the back that has the decks. What is the paint color for the wood
The
there?
deck will be replaced, we'll tear it completely out, and it's actually going to be done, like the trim, it'll be a white, more of a plastic looking to tie in the trim. So it's just not an ugly wooden deck sitting there. We'll just make it look like it's part of the building.
So does that need to be?
It's going to be plastic railings?
That may be,
It'll still be a wood structure, we just paint it with stuff. We can either stain it or paint it, whichever would be preferred.
that would be another item to consider as you're making your,
Yes.
during your discussion this evening.
Comments on the stain or versus paint on the deck?
So you're painting that existing wood structure as it,
Everything that's there will be torn down and replaced.
oh, so you're okay.
Yeah, we're gonna repurpose that to make it look a lot nicer. They won't come down together. I just wanna make it look pretty. Everything I do is, we want to be, like, the railings will be elegant looking, they'll have some design, just something that looks older, it's pretty. It's like what's there, other than, like underneath, you just don't see any substance. Typically, I build a bigger post and stain them to make it look more, just more substancy.
Right. I mean, I guess we can approve the painting of that, but I'm not sure we can approve the look or the structure of the railing at this
Go back
point.
with exactly what's there, if that's what's
Right.
necessary, so we can move forward, and that's fine, and then we can just stain it, polyurethane it, obviously, just cure it.
So you're good with going back with the same structure that you have now, same style, same design?
Yeah, I just want it to be brand new.
Okay.
And stain versus paint? Either one?
Well, the stain, you would do it, it would be, what color would the stain
It would
be?
just be a polyurethane stain, it wouldn't change the color of the wood, you'd still see wood, it just protects it.
It'd be a clear
A
coat.
clear, yes, sir, a flat clear. I try to do everything with a satin or a flat color, so it's not flashy, it's flat.
And if you painted it, it would be,
We painted the same color as the building, so it would just, you wouldn't see it anymore.
yeah,
Basically, if you looked at it, you have the green, nice, kind of a green, and that green, it would disappear.
yeah.
I like that.
I like the the disappearing, not because it's an unattractive.
But it's just,
But
it's not attractive.
No, but I think that-
It's kind of make it disappear, so it just flows with the downtown. We've torn out all the bushes already, and we've been working on all that.
Wonderful.
It's just awful.
I would vote for the paint, the same color as the building.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree with that.
okay. So let's take a look at the roof color, roof shingles.
They'll also
It's a
be
little-
architectural shingles, not 3-tab, so that they look nice.
Architectural, yes.
Yes, sir.
The color's a little bit lighter, but seems to blend in very well.
Yeah, we had our design to pick those out. I build a lot of custom homes and things. I'm a general contractor, so that's who makes this stuff out. I didn't pick it out, I can tell you that. Maybe black.
Any other comments or concerns? Do we have a motion? Motion to approve paint or stain?
With the painted deck.
Motion to approve with a painted deck and the deck reconstructed to match what's there now. Colors on the house being what's proposed. Do I hear a second? Second from Amanda. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. On to,
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
all right, thank you. On to 24?
Yes, sir. 311 North Main Street in the Downtown Historic District. The applicant seeking approval for new signage on the building. And you can see before you is actually real. This is what's on the window now. The applicant did apply several weeks ago prior to this being installed. Apparently there was a miscommunication between the sign contractor and the property owner, and the signs were inadvertently installed prior to BAR approval tonight. So the good thing is we can see what it actually looks like. And this does have vinyl graphics totaling approximately 18 square feet. And although the applicant says it's not planned at this time, it may not even be something they do down the road, but they did include in their package an awning sign, and I just wanted to show that to you tonight. That might be something you want to discuss just to handle it tonight as part of their overall sign package. But again, this is really not part of their request tonight. What's before you tonight are the signs that are on the window now. Again, vinyl graphics totaling approximately 18 square feet. Per the city's signage guidelines in the Central Business District, you can have up to 100 square feet on the frontage, so that does obviously meet it. If they do go back later and add the sign on the awning, that would have to be calculated as part of this signage and not exceed 100 square feet. So we'll just need to keep an eye on that.
Any, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And when you do review requests such as this, you focus on standards set forth in Chapter 8, which relates to signs, and the following sections applies to design a sign to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Appropriate signs include freestanding, flush-mounted, window signs, as this one is, projecting, hanging, awning, and directional signs. Signs should be in character with those seen historically. And again, those are the items you take into consideration when approving requests such as this. And again, this is 311 North Main. Questions for me? The applicant is not present tonight.
Okay, the size of the graphics looks good. Color on the graphics is not too harsh. Any thoughts or comments about the graphics which are already on the windows? Any concerns? No? Okay. The next thing is, should the applicant want to come back and put some graphics on their awning? Are we in agreement that would be okay if they stay below the 100 square feet? Do we want them to come back before us for that?
Would there be a new awning or on this weathered?
That's unknown at this time, so it's a good question because the awning is struggling a little bit, it appears.
And it has some, looks like some old painted lettering on the front of it there. It's
Yes.
really faded out.
Yeah.
Right.
We would hope it'd be a new awning, but
Well, I think they can paint those as well.
You can.
So, yeah, just
yeah, like,
a fresh coat of paint would be something to consider. You said that would have to come back? Or,
It's up to the board. Again, the city's guidelines would require that the total signage on the frontage could not exceed 100 square feet. So what did I say this was, 18 square feet?
18, right.
So
80
it looks
square
like they
feet
would
sign
have
would be
plenty
allowed.
of room. Again, they would need to get sign permits, but it's up to the board to determine whether or not you're okay with that general design. If it's the same, you could approve it now. If they come back with something different, of course, that would come back to you. Or you can just have it come back to you altogether. Again, they may not even do it, but it
Right.
just happened to be in their package when they initially submitted.
Right.
So they would not have to pay another
Right, they would have to
application?
reapply, yeah. As a matter of fact, even if they did come back at a later date, as a courtesy typically for continuations, we just keep the file open.
I think because there are so many ifs, they might change the color of the new awning, that they ought to come back, but.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
Then maybe we could talk to them about repainting or cleaning the existing awning.
But, I mean, it looks good, but I think we ought to see.
It looks good, but, right. If they change the color of the awning or even the way it's hung, they would need to come back for us anyway. So, any further comments on the graphics on the windows? Do I hear a motion to approve, or just motion from Mary Lou to approve? Second from Amanda. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And we'll leave it open for them to come back before us for the awning.
Very good.
And addenda?
Yes, the first item tonight is 110 East Benson Street. This is a continuation from earlier this year, and just to show you what's going on, you did make several approvals early on about the facade of the building, removal of shutters, window work, bumping out a new entrance. As you can see, this was taken today. You can see the work taking place. Several items, new light fixtures were approved early on, just taking you on a little visual perspective to remind you what you saw several months ago. And again, this shows removing the awning, existing signage, shutters, remove stucco. This was the rendering showing the bump out. Tonight before you is the exterior paint, and I passed around a packet showing what the proposal is, and Billy Zion is representing the applicant, and Billy may want to add a little bit more regarding this proposal tonight.
So yeah, this was the sketch that was approved a few months ago. And we're basically sticking to that. But, I mean, we're sticking to the traditional trim details that we proposed for the top cornice and for around the windows and around the door at the bottom. But obviously, the owner has decided to go with this monochromatic look, which is a black color. So what it does is, I mean, again, we're keeping some of the traditional trim elements to match the adjacent buildings, but what this monochromatic color scheme does is bring a more modern element to it, and I think that, along with the light fixtures being like a brushed copper, and with the lettering being a brushed copper, I really think it pops and it stands out as a sharp, kind of a European pub style building, which I think would look nice alongside the adjacent buildings on Benson Street. And here's a depiction of that. So the dark color does kind of tie in with some of the adjacent trim on the buildings on Benson Street. So, yeah, so what do you think?
I have a question about the stonework. Originally, you were going to
Right.
whitewash the stone, so you're changing it now to, looks like a different stone maybe, or leave it?
It's going to be the same stone, it'll still be painted, but it'll be painted the same black color.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, while everything is the same black tricorn color, you will have some different textures. The stone will obviously be a different texture. The main body of the building will be stucco, so that will be a different texture. And then all the trim that we're adding will be composite wood, so it'll have a little bit higher sheen to it as well. So I think in the sunlight, it really will read as 3 or 4 different textures, so it won't look like a blank black building. You will get some shadow and some texture effect from the different materials.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the original drawing, I believe it had a metal roof, it looks like,
Right.
and now it looks like it has a shingled roof. And,
Oh, over the bay window?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that looks, and it might just be this rendering of it, but it looks like it almost, clashes with the stone, but
The metal does or the shingles do?
the shingles, I mean, it's, pattern on pattern.
Right.
Almost the same scale instead of,
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I
Did
think
they
the owner would be
change?
open to changing that to metal.
since
Do
you're
you think-
using copper, would that
Right.
be too much, or did it age?
I did actually look at copper with the owner, and he didn't care for a copper roof down there, but if the board thinks that would be a more historic look for the building, I could approach the owner and see if he's open to that.
Is that roof exposed to the elements?
It's
or
not,
is
so
it back?
this bottom area is recessed, 2 or 3 feet back.
Could almost, could it be even wood?
Or not having one.
Yeah, I mean, it's
With-
really not exposed to the elements.
I'm not trying to be the architect.
No, I see what you're saying,
But-
the pattern of the shingles and then the pattern of the stone. might
And
be-
because I think it's, a very clever way to keep, to make the stone that's there work,
Right.
even though it probably wasn't historic. But the ribs on the roof of the previously submitted drawing of the bay window, the ribs that when it was going to be metal.
Right.
I mean, that was, to me, a very attractive,
Yeah.
detail. And you were talking about adding, trim around these
Mm-hmm.
windows and all. Perhaps
Right.
you could design something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The wood,
And
if you
one
didn't
scheme I
like
did show
copper.
him was also a standing seam metal roof over that
Oh,
bay
yeah.
window.
Sure.
And he was okay with that. I mean, the existing is shingles, so in his mind, he was thinking, well, I'll just go back with shingles, something dark. But I do see your point, and I agree that a standing seam, black metal roof,
Yeah, that
Would look
that
better.
be great.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the black metal roof, to me, would fit in a lot better. I do have a concern about the cornice up top being black, and the other buildings, the cornices are all white typically. What do you think about the black cornice versus the white matching the other buildings?
Thinking.
I showed him obviously several different versions, and some had the main body a lighter color, some had a lighter cornice. And as we started making different colors for the different, sections of the building, it really chopped it up unfavorably, in my opinion. So I really like this monochromatic look. And again, I think with the shadows and the material difference, you will still see the cornice. And it's just something a little different. It's a little more modern take on a traditional facade.
Yeah, it is more modern, and it looks pretty good. I just have a little bit of a concern that the other buildings are white, and I want to hear
Well, and
everyone else's opinion.
they're not all white because
Just,
Noble Investments has, just a brick. It's not a very ornate cornice, but it does have a little bit there, and it is, all the same color. I'm real glad that you all are keeping the cornice and the architectural features, because you,
Right. Yeah, another thing I forgot to mention was they are going to expose this brick detail that's now covered with stucco. So they're going to chip away the stucco
Yeah,
and
I-
expose that brick.
I didn't remember it being there.
up in
Yeah, so-
the cornice, they're going to chip away that?
They're going to
No,
chip away.
right now it's
Right down
covered up.
it. To expose it.
They're going to expose this brick.
Brick and then paint it? They can expose the brick and then paint it?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So this detail coming across from the wedding shop will continue all the way across to this building here. So I think originally these 3 buildings were one. So that brick
Oh.
detail continued all the way across the front, so it'll kind of reintroduce that element back to the facade.
Okay. Any other comments? Concerns?
I guess I was wondering if that was an original awning. Probably not in that building, since it had a recessed entrance.
No, it wasn't.
Because it looks like, you could almost not even put an awning there. The building next door doesn't have an awning, and neither does the other one.
Yeah, and really it doesn't.
It doesn't really require an awning.
The sketch showed an awning, but we've since simplified that to where there'll be one simple piece of trim at the bottom or the top of the opening, but there won't be an awning per se coming out from the building.
The awning
Yes, you're right.
would be an awning protruding out into the sidewalk?
No, there will not.
Okay.
It'll be similar to the building next door where you're covered by the structure of the building.
Okay.
So it would be strictly an accent feature for the building, for the front of the building?
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion
And it is?
that we approve it as it is, but recommend changing the roof of the bay window.
To a black standing seam metal
To
roof.
black.
Standing seam,
Standing seam.
okay. Here a second? For a second from Jill? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
The last item, the addenda tonight is 124 West Whitner Street. Probably looks very familiar to you because you considered it last month at your meeting for signage. At that meeting, you did approve, sorry for the glare on this, but you did approve a 36-inch internally lit button sign, wall sign. Also, you approved some vinyl graphics, 42 by 18 on the building. Since that time, it was brought to our attention that in addition to the approved signage, a little bit more was added, still within our sign guidelines, square footage requirements, but the breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering vinyl graphics were added. So we requested to the applicant to submit an addenda to their original application, which they did, which shows, again, the approved button sign. This was approved last month, so tonight before you is the approval of the graphics depicting the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and catering. So we want to bring that to your attention tonight for your consideration and official action on that.
It's a minor change. Nice looking graphics. Comments, concerns?
I think because of the relationship of the size, it works.
It's very tasteful.
It does, it looks very good,
Yeah.
it looks very good.
It's almost like a feature. It's like it needed something else. It was
Yeah,
kind of,
it was lacking something before.
Like a
Yes.
balance, yeah.
Yes. Any other comments? Do I hear a motion? Motion from Jill, second from Mary Lou. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is passed.
Okay, thank you.
And that concludes the business part of our meeting. Now we take a look at the minutes from last month's meeting. Any corrections? Do I hear a proposal to approve them? Proposal from Billy? Second? From Jill? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn from Amanda, second from Mary Lou. Those in favor? Aye.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yep,
Thanks.
we're done. That concludes the meeting.